And I was like, how about this? President Trump, extending this olive branch and we talked about things we had in common, ending wokeness, securing the border. The president was asking him what he thought about policy, going on with Iran and Israel and things. It just meant it blew my mind. It was, right. I was, very, very proud.
Bob, do you think he walked away liking him? Because, Trump is the type of person that you got to meet him to understand it.
Kid Rock helped arrange a private dinner between President Trump and Bill Maher, an unlikely pairing that, surprisingly, didn't start World War III. Afterward, Maher posted that the evening far exceeded expectations and even thanked people for their interest. Kid Rock later gave reporters a quick recap of what went down.
I said, man, nothing happens if people don't break bread together and meet face to face. He's been one of the president's hardest critics, and we came to dinner with me, Bill, Dana White, and it could not have been better. Everyone was so surprised, so pleasant. The most shocking thing to me was, Bill's obviously a very big liberal, been very hard on the president, but he's donated a lot of money to other politicians. You've had Biden, Clinton, Obama, everybody. He had never been to the White House, and the president was so gracious. He took us up to the private residence. We saw the Gettysburg Address in the Lincoln bedroom, and I was like, you've never been here, Bill? Absolutely. Bill even said to me, after that, he goes, wow, that was, everybody's mind was kind of blown. Even the president's, I think, because the president called me late night last night, and, everyone was a little suspect about going into this, and even the president kind of alerted to me a little bit, like, what do you got me doing?
Right.
And I go, man, we're just trying to show people that, even though we've been pretty hard on each other, that when you get face to face, maybe we could have a little more civility in this country and try to bring people together. And that was my whole intention.
Do you sense that anything will change with Bill Maher's show from here? Because I think he's been very fair, to be honest.
That's my hope that, and God bless Bill too, he even said going into this, he goes, because I go, Bill, I know, some of this Hollywood stuff, it would be great for you to get thrown out, and it'd probably be good for you to double down and be like, I can't stand this guy. And he goes, Bob, I'm not going to sabotage something that potentially could bring us and other people together, just to show that, that family member that you kind of divided with over politics, or that person at the school when you drop your kids off that is a left-wing person, and you're like, that maybe we'll just, hey, we can find things we have in common. And it gets so easy to go on social media. And one thing we learned through COVID was that isolation breeds hatred. We need to get out and talk.
Kid Rock nailed the truth about modern media. Online echo chambers amplify outrage and make civil conversation rare. He says he played Maher's ego and respect for the presidency to bring the two sides together, something few imagined back during Trump's first term. Maher explained his reasons for attending and slammed the far left's reflexive outrage over the meeting.
I just think to meet somebody, first of all, it's an honor to be invited to the White House.
Yes, it is.
And I've already had a couple of people who I said to them, I'm just going to take it as a backhanded compliment that you glide right past the idea that little Bill Maher from Rivervale, New Jersey, just a humble kid from the suburb, was invited for a private dinner to the White House. You glide right past that to how dare you talk to him, and that you're not impressed by it at all. I'm impressed by it a lot. I'm impressed out of it. I get to go to the White House, and yes, that is the structure of this dinner, is just let's talk. Let's talk to each other face to face. Let's not stop shouting from 3,000 miles away, So maybe this is a beginning to heal America. Now, I don't have some sort of complex where I think I can heal America. I can't. Okay, let's get that clear. I'm not going to be healing America. But if two guys who've been at each other for so long, there was nobody who was harder on Trump than I was. I feel like I have the credentials. But they also respect me because I'm honest about the woke train to crazy town. And I've also lost a lot of fans for that. The woke people have left the building, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Don't expect Maher to flip conservative overnight, but the fact he agreed to meet the president matters. It's a sign that more people are weary of constant tribalism and willing to at least talk across the aisle. Celebrating small courtesies, like a civil dinner or common sense takes from comics and pundits, shouldn't be seen as revolutionary, just overdue.
Kid Rock was here a couple of weeks ago, and he said, I want you to meet Trump. He said, I'm going to take you to the White House. So now we're going to do that.
I think that's
and like
a good
there will be
conversation.
lots of people on the left who will be like, how dare you talk to this man? It's like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not playing this game that you mean girls play.
Yes.
Where like, oh, you know what? You can't sit at my lunch table because I'm just not talking to you. Not talking to you, you lost the election. Who the do you think you have to talk to? You know, it's one thing if you win it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's another thing if you lose it.
You gotta start
kinda
talking to people.
Have to talk. And I see Gavin Newsom is doing this now. He's changed his tune. He's got a podcast, and the first guest was Charlie Kirk.
I thought that was brilliant. You
and
have
he mentioned me. He said, like, I'm noticing what Bill does, talks to both sides, like, is left-leaning, but
Maher's choice also signals a broader shift. Some on the left are recognizing that endless identity politics and performative outrage don't win hearts or solve problems. Whether it's sincere or opportunistic, that movement toward conversation is notable, and it's worth discussing. What do you think about the dinner? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this interesting, hit like and subscribe.